Hey guys, and welcome to another product review. And these are the iLoud micro monitors from Ik Multimedia. They're absolutely tiny. They look like cheap little computer speakers from the old days, right? But they're not, trust me. Okay, just a little bit of specs for you off the box. Yeah. These are the special edition, by the way, in white. They're normally in black. Right, what do we got? It's a 3/4 inch silk dome tweeter with a 3-inch high rigidity custom composite woofer, which goes down to 55 Hz. They're front ported, yeah. There's a little multicolour indicator LED there. It'll go blue when you activate the Bluetooth thing, so that it'll send out Bluetooth and you can pair to it. Otherwise it stays like that, and then when you start driving it, if you overload, start pushing it too hard, it gets red, etc. It's got a DSP controlled time-aligned crossover, and apparently there are 4 amps in here. Right, 50 watts for the bass end, I believe. And as I said, they're ported. Right. Now, let's look at this one. This is the way these work is, look, you know, one unit's got the controls, and then it connects to the other unit with this big multi-pin flex cable like that. Right. So if you just look at this one, it's easy for me to get it by the camera. There it is. Look. You can just see iLoud very subtly put into the side there. Yeah. Very nice. Metal grills. Yeah. Now, each speaker has a standard thread mic stand fitting, so you can mount these on poles really easily. And each speaker sits on your workbench on these thick solid rubber tubes. Right? You can actually flex the front one. Right? So they can sit flat like that, or you can tilt this up to angle them up more like towards you. Yeah? That's really clever. But microphone stand mounting. And that's important actually, because I'll tell you what, these are loud enough and they've got a deep enough bass extension that you could use these up on poles at trade shows, or to deliver your audio for multimedia presentations in conference rooms and things like that. Trust me, they're loud enough and they go deep enough on the bass end for that. Really. Now let's look at this other unit. A bit more difficult because there's all these cables. Come on. Right, what have we got? Well, there's your volume control. It's centre indented at 0, and you can roll it off, quieter, or up louder. Power switch. There is your mains lead. Yeah, comes with a mains power supply, DC input there. There's the multi-pin lead, which goes off to the connect to the other speaker. RCA left, right, in, and there's a little mini jack in as well. So you got, you know, mini jack to something like this mini jack output of an iMac, mini jack to mini jack, and you're up and running. And then finally here, there's your little Bluetooth button. It's just a dab switch. You press it in, front light starts flashing blue, and then you can pair up to it. And then lastly, these 3 slider switches. The top one is marked, well, the whole section is marked EQ. This is marked flat in its default position. Put it across to desk, and the effect is, and it's incredibly subtle, the effect is, it's hard to describe, a slightly more presence, but incredibly subtle. Then this one is either flat or gives you a 2 dB high frequency boost, very subtle, and this one is either flat or it gives you a -3 dB low frequency reduction, but again very, very subtle, and that's your lot. Now, when I first fired these up, I nearly fainted when I heard the bottom end on them. In some ways the bottom end on these is tighter than on the KRKs, right? So look, let me just turn the mic down a little bit and I'll play you something. There's a mic here to pick it up. That's the one I'm talking to you on. This mic here I'm talking to you on. It is no scientific experiment, but you should be able to hear the bass end. Let me turn it down so I don't overload it. Here we go. Just play you something, yeah. Here we go. There we go. bass end, I can't believe the bass end on that. It goes so low and it's so tight. As I say, in a way, these are almost tighter than the KRKs there. There's something about these, there's a tightness to these that is slightly lacking in the bottom end, that's slightly lacking on the KRKs. I mean, these will go louder, they won't go any deeper. These go down to 55 Hz. Well, these KRKs, which are also front ported, and they're 5-inch drivers, right? They don't go down much, they're really rolling off when you get down to 55 Hz. You're not getting much more below 55 Hz out of these. But there's something about the tightness of these that is a bit, I can't explain it, more glued than these in a way. Anyway, I'd love to play more material on these, but I don't want to get any copyright strikes, because then I've done that before and I've got copyright strikes by playing copyright material through them, and in some countries you can't even watch it, right, the video. So there they are. So yeah, pole mounted with standard microphone thread, stand threads. They'll go loud. Let me make them go loud. Here we go. Turn the mic back up. When you drive them really loud like that, it just has the effect of the bass end reduces relative to the mids, because the small 3-inch drivers are just working so hard that the bass doesn't disappear. You still get that deep bass extension, surprisingly tight, because you're really driving the hell out of them. The amp in them is turned up full and are being driven with a much louder signal. But the bass is still there. Doesn't get wiped out, but just the mids come up a bit relative to the bass, because you're just driving the crap out of those 3-inch cones, right? I just can't believe how bottom end they go. Anyway, look, I don't want to go on too long with this. Just to show you that they do pair to Bluetooth. That's my rubbish phone. So I paired it earlier, and I'm not going to play a tiny sliver of Wretch, because if I play any more, I'll get a copyright strike, which I probably will anyway.
Even though I think the dress couldn't be shoot.
Yeah, it's working, right? So it pairs up to Bluetooth great, which is a bit of a bonus. People come round, let me play some tunes on your speakers, They'll work fine in a let's get together gathering type scenario as well. Okay, so bottom line is, these were designed for this type of environment. A workbench with a wall close behind, small compact programming suite, writing suite, whatever, where this kind of speaker is, even this size, a 5-inch KRK, to be honest, is bordering on being too big. If I have to mix with these, I have to drag them to the very front to get them as far away as possible from that back wall. Otherwise they boom. And even then they still boom a bit. Right? So these are designed to work in a small environment where you want accuracy, deep low end extension, but you don't want monitors that are too loud, too big for the space, because then they're going to start booming and you get an inaccurate picture of what's going on. And in that respect, they absolutely succeed, 10 out of 10. But as I said, that's not their only role. I could use these for, as I said, doing any sort of presentations at trade shows, things like that. They'd be fine for something like that, or in a conference room or something. Not a huge conference hall, but a conference room with a table. These would work to do a presentation to 50 people in a room that could hold 50 people. Yeah, no problems, right? So that's a product sector that they haven't even thought that much about, Ik Multimedia, or have they? Because they put those things underneath, right? Okay. So the only final question is, they're perfect for video editing, MIDI composition suites where it's attached to a main studio. You want some monitors that are small, compact, go right down low enough that you can hear the bottom end. You can work your bass, you can do your kicks, things like that, and you can hear what's going on. any type of editing suite, any type of composition, small home studio setups where you can't blast everyone out with big speakers, and you don't really want them anyway because they're going to give you an inaccurate picture, because the bigger the speaker, the more it has to be driven to work optimally, the louder it gets, the crappier the sound is, as all the frequencies are booming around in the small workspace you've got. You actually want something smaller. So in all those scenarios, these work surprisingly well. As I said, there's a tightness to them that is, to my ears, tighter than these KRKs. I can't explain it, but there is. Right? And these don't go down any lower. Right? But what it is with these, you just get more bass, which just fills up the room with a booming bass, which subjectively makes you think, well, they're bassier. They're not. These are going as low, but they're just not flooding the room with huge amounts of bass because they're not massive speakers, right? I don't know, it's really clever how they've done it. So that leaves one thing. Would you mix on these? Yeah, I could actually, because any speaker you have to get used to them, right? I mean, I kind of transitioned into working in pro studios around the time that the NS10 started to become popular and stayed in popular. You couldn't walk into a record company or a management company or a publishing company office. Everyone had a pair of NS10s. Everyone mixed on them, everyone listened on them. And they're not an accurate studio monitor. They're a hi-fi monitor that is not accurate at all. Yeah, so I could mix on these. Yeah, you could mix on them. Would I, in a pro setup, mix on them though? Honestly, no. I would probably go for a bit, because I'd be in a bigger space, acoustically treated. I'd go for a larger near field. Yeah? Genlex or something, yeah? And mix on those. But I would still, these could still have a role in a big pro studio on top of the console as a small pair of accurate small near fields to switch to check. Sort of like a modern day Auratone equivalent, but it, stereo. People would use an Auratone usually in mono, right in the middle, to listen to mono. So yeah, they would even have a role in a large studio in the main room as a small pair of monitors, just for checking. Then go back to your main monitors, or your main near fields rather, not your big soffit mounted ones. But you do, every so often you go to that, right, back to the near fields, check these, back to the near fields. Yeah, so even in a big pro setup, these would have a role. But where they would really come into their own is in the programming suites off the main studio. Perfect. And as I said, for video editing, anything like that. Okay, I've gone on enough. They go super low. There's a tightness to them I love. Perfect for the small home studio, plus other roles as well. Yeah, I'm blown away. The iLoud micro monitors. They're just incredible how low they go. Full marks to Ik Multimedia. Given the role they were designed for, in that role, 10 out of 10. No ifs or buts. Yeah? That doesn't mean 10 out of 10 compared to all the monitor speakers in the world, but in this category, small, compact, but designed to be accurate with low, tight, accurate bass extension. Yeah, Christ, 10 out of 10. No doubt about it. They're very, very good. So I'll leave you with that. Now, I do realise if you're thinking of getting something like this, there's less and less shops that we can go to, even if we travel miles on in a car or on a train or something, because more and more shops are closing and the internet's taking over. All I can say is, if you want to take a punt on these and you live in Europe, if you buy them from Tomman, and I'm assuming Tomman stock them, you get a no quibble money back thing with Tomman. So you open the box, try them out, don't like them, put them back in the box, send them back to Tomman, they'll give you your money back or give you credit towards something different, right? Otherwise they are fully warranted by Ik Multimedia. You get this little booklet in the box with the power supply and everything else, which has something about registering the product. I don't know what the warranty on them is, but anyway. But I said, if you are nervous, I'm not sure I like them, but they look like they might be just right for what I need, but if you're in Europe, Tomman. And I said, if you really don't like them, you've got 2 weeks to try them, and then just, you know what, send it back. All you have to do is say, I don't like them. And they go, right, here's your money back. Yeah, no problem. Okay, the iLouds from Ik Multimedia. The iLoud micro monitors. I'm actually staggered by these things, and I think what I'm going to do is get these off the bench, because they just take up so much bloody space. And then I'll bring them out now and again if I'm doing mix duties and switch between to check what's going on. But they're fine. I can do composing on these, anything on these. They're fine. So I hope that's useful, and I'll see you for the next one.